This video is about how to apply your desired design on the model image using the 3D drape mode of SmartDesigner, the fashion and textile CAD software. So this is the SmartDesigner, the fashion and textile CAD software. First, you need to open the blank workspace, go to create new image, and make sure you are selecting the drape image mode, because if you select the other modes, then you won't be able to drape or map your design onto the model image. So make sure make sure the full color is selected. Click OK, and you're going to have a blank canvas looking like this. Now, to open your desired image list, you can just simply, if you have a ready-made image list, you can make use of that. Or if you want to make use of the other model images, you can simply download them and just make use of it just like this. But for today, I'm going to make use of the already made image list just like that. So first, left click on the model, click copy to bring the model onto the workspace, or you can simply import the image like I mentioned a while ago. So copy, just click it on the workspace like this. First step would be define panel. So just imagine define panel is the very first step of draping mode. When you click this, you're going to and you can able to select the portion of your model. So basically, just think it as you're selecting the portion of the dress where you would like your design to be applied, just like this. So it's very similar to the lasso tool of Photoshop, but there is another advantage of SmartDesigner I will be going to discussing. I will discuss about that later. So it depends on the model and the clothes. This may be a little bit of a time-consuming job, but usually it only takes around like 5 minutes to complete the overall to complete the whole defining process. So there you have it. When you are done with your when you're done with your defining process, you can actually see the outline of the portion in yellow, looking like this. Now, if you want to modify the outline, so for example, if you see here, I didn't quite make the line fit to the model image. So if you want to adjust the outline, simply right click and select move control node, and you will going to find your outline with nodes so that you can modify them just like that. So this is the function that I mentioned a while ago, that the function that SmartDesigner have, but the Adobe Photoshop does not have, because once you use the lasso tool, once you're done selecting the outline or the portion using the lasso tool, you cannot really go back. You can either have to start it from the start, or you have to just go with whatever you just did with the lasso tool. So this is quite convenient compared to those. So when you're done, make sure to click complete current panel. But once you click the complete current panel button, it means that you cannot modify the portions anymore. So I usually do this at the very end of the whole process, but it's really up to you. Just remember, defining panel or define the portion of the dress is the very first step. So once you're done with all the modification and everything, you can either define the image dimension first or define the color. I usually go for the define dimension first. So this process you're going to estimate the size of this whole portion so that the patterns will be applied. Pattern will be applied on the dress using the size that you entered. But you can still adjust the pattern sizes later when you do the object draping. I'm going to show it to you in a moment. And now the define color part. Since the dress is the majority of the dress is just yellow, so I'm going to just click it on the yellow portion of the dress, since this is like the major color of the dress. Oops. Nope. So once you're done, the reason why when I clicked exit, the reason why this window popped up is because I did not complete the current panel. So once you're done with everything, when you're happy with the whole portions, when you're done with the defining dimension and color, click complete current panel, and you're going to find your portion turned into red. Now it's time for the grid. So once you click, the grid is right over here. When you click define grid, you're going to find an arrow. So this arrow moves side by side. So it just follows your mouse. So let's say this arrow, basically you just point this arrow upwards since our model is facing front and she's standing straight. So let's say if you have a model that's a little bit slanted to the right, you can actually do this or do that. Or if it's slanted to the left, you can do this. You can do that. So the pattern will be flow from upward to downward. But since our model is just standing straight, we'll just go for the upward arrow. And you're going to see a little grid box looking like this around the portion that you defined earlier. Now basically the reason why you're setting the grid is to make your designs or the patterns that you created or the patterns that you scanned will flow more naturally. So since human body has lots of curves, so we're going to define the curves of the patterns that we're going to apply. So when you click, if you saw it a while ago, I just right-clicked on this window and added the control line. So you can add as many as you want. You can also delete it by right-clicking. So I usually just add 2 for the vertical lines and 2 for the horizontal line. When you click preview, it will going to show you a gray grid looking like this. That's the preview of your pattern. You can also change the sizes of your grid like this. So using the gray grids, you can actually estimate, or you can actually guess how your textile or how your design would flow on this dress. So if you see right now, I just made some nods and the grid just changed. So when you want to create nodes like this, simply right click on the control line, add control nodes, and just follow the curve of the model, or follow the curves of the model's body like this. Just like that. Let's add one more vertical line. Like this. So we are done with the vertical lines. Let's try with the horizontal line. So since the human body is not really flat, you can make use of this define grid function. Just like that, to set the overall grid. So there we have it. We have just right curves for her upper body. Now, when you're happy with what you said or what you did with the grids, remember there is no check button, which is confirm or OK button in SmartDesigner. There is no check button when it comes to define grid. All you have to do is just exit, but that doesn't mean that the grid is gone. It's still there. When you click define grid again, like let's say if you want to adjust your grid or if you want to modify your grid, you can always click the define grid and adjust them just like this. Just like that. Okay, so we have done the basic procedure for the draping mode. So we just define the panel, we define the dimension, we define the color, we completed, after all that we completed the panel so that we can set the grid, and now we're done with the grid as well. Now moving on to the fun part. So let's say if you have your own designs, let's say such as checkered, or if you want to put some pattern for, let's say, the flower, or if you want to put any butterfly patterns, even the neat pattern that you created using the neat design mode, you can easily drape it on the model, or should I say map it on the model, and see the preview of how your final product would look like. So how do you drape it on the model is from the image list. So all your designs, all your scanned textiles that you wish to drape on the model has to be inside the image list. Right click, drape object, and you're going to find your pattern draped on the model looking like this. Now if you've noticed, there's a little menu here that appeared. So using this one, you can set the sizes of the pattern like I mentioned a while ago. That's why I said the define dimension function is not really that important, because you're going to you can actually change the size of the pattern from here anyways. So yeah, if you wanted 7, or if you wanted as a little stripes, you can make it 2, or even more smaller stripes, you can make it 1. The brightness of the whole portion, shadowing to make it look more realistic, you can all adjust it here. Now anti-alias, it's basically, if you've noticed, the edge of the dress is kind of smudged. So if you just pull it all the way to the right, it will going to smudge the whole portion of your dress. But since, well, personally I don't really like my edges to be smudged like that, so I usually just I don't really apply this property at all, or I just put it at the first level, or I don't just put it I don't really apply it at all. But it seems like level 1 looks fine. So there we have it. You can also change the angle of your pattern, so let's say 20, even 90, so it will be horizontal. 50, such as this. So there we have it. This is how you do the whole draping process. This is the whole draping process. Now, let's say if you want to make use of this model again in the future, so you might think like, oh, does that mean like I have to go through from the start again? So do I have to define panel again and do all those processes? You don't really have to do that, because you can simply add it to the image list, and all the draping property will just stay there. So let's say if you just open another draping mode canvas, you can just simply copy the image that you worked with before, and all you have to do is just right click on the sample swatch or sample scanned image and just click drape object, and it will be applied to the model like this. So it's very convenient. You don't really need to, so just one process, and just save the image with the property to the image list, and you don't really need to do the whole process from the top again. So it's very useful for those fashion designers who are preparing for, let's say like a fashion show or different meetings with the buyers. So let's say the buyer would like to see this cloth with this swatch. They simply have to do all the draping process in advance. Right click, drape object, and it will be draped onto the model looking like this. So that was the basic of the draping mode. Now to add on that, we have a special function with SmartDesigner called the pattern combo. So it creates different common patterns in seconds. So this function is actually also available in all the modes, except for the neat image and weave image. Is actually only available in general image, drape image, and in create new project mode. So it will going to, like I mentioned a while ago, it will going to create common patterns like stripe, diamond, and checker patterns in a second. Now if you use this in the draping mode, so before I demonstrate this part, these two patterns and this little diamond patterns are created from the pattern combo. Okay, let's just try. Why don't we just try that from the general image mode? So when you select OK, when you click this little button here, it actually says horizontal stripe, but it's actually the pattern combo button. And from here you can either choose, if you want a vertical stripe, you can choose this. If you want checker generator, you can choose this. You can choose diamond generator, you can click that. But let's try with vertical stripes. So once you're done with clicking the pattern generator, click all the colors that you wish to see, or all the colors that you want to be made into vertical stripe. Once you're done, click OK. Then you can actually set all the stripes from here. So if you want the range of color to be used are from 3, you can also do that. Now if you're happy with this, or if you want to stripe with same width, you can also do that. Just click OK, and you're going to find your stripes, the swatches of your stripes looking like this. Now if you're happy with what you created, click Show Preview. That's left click on the sample image, and so Show Preview, and you're going to see the little swatch of your pattern. When you click OK, you're going to see your swatch appearing on the canvas like this. And you can, if you want to make use of this into, let's say, on your fashion design or your draping, just simply click Add to Image List. So it will be added to your image list just like that. Now you may use this and do the drape object. You can also do that, but we're going to do it in a more convenient way. Now remember I selected all the colors in the create new image mode. You can actually just use this one. If you want to use the same colors that you selected a while ago, you can just simply click last selected color, and we're going to call out all the colors that you used last time. And if you want to take out some colors, just left click on the colors that you don't want, and it will just automatically delete all the colors. Okay, now let's see what happens when I click OK. So this is pattern combo in the draping mode. So when you click OK, you can either use the existing combo that we created a while ago, or you can generate from the start again using these colors. So I'm just going to generate it again. So as you see, the stripes are being applied onto the model. So you don't really have to go through, like, let's say, create a pattern in a new general image mode, add it to the image list, and drape it again to the model. You don't really have to do that. You can just simply do everything in within the draping mode. So we call this Drape Combo. So let's say if you have if you like this one, if you like this combo, just like a while ago, right click, show preview. I'm going to show you the preview of the design. Okay, let me change another, let me select another one. Show preview. If you like, now if you are happy with this, click OK, and you can actually see your model with the stripe pattern that you created a while ago together with the stripe swatch. So as you see, it's moving around that wherever your mouse is moving. You can just simply put it at the side of your model to show your buyers or show your clients, oh, this pattern here is based from this swatch, something like that. Now if you want to make use of this swatch, you can just simply add it to the image list. Make sure it's selected on the pattern image, but it's usually just selected on the last image that you created. So you can, all you have to do is just simply add it to image list, and it will be just added here. So there we have it. We have that was the basic of the Drape Combo. If you have any question, or if you have any inquiries regarding the drape mode, please don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.